just like the big show and the High Council, I purposely did not start on time. Plus, I was busy. So welcome to the Fan Caste, episode 101, and Friday night or Saturday morning or afternoon or whatever it is in your part of the world. I am your host, Channel Dad Brian Lape, also known as Brain Muffin and other stuff. That's why I'm in there. That is my Twitter handle, @BrainMuffin. I kind of took that a cue from other people who started doing it. For the 7 people that watch, and you know, if you listen to this program, every once in a while you get to be on this program. And joining me tonight, the Appalachian American.
What's up? What's up? How are y'all doing tonight? Well, you actually, because
yeah. Well, yeah. See, if you're on here,
y'all
then no
can
one's
be
in
the chat.
No one's going to be in the chat because you're not. But you were the one who last week was saying, "Hey, what happened to the show?" So
yeah.
So I don't know all what happened. I just know that some a couple of people got upset about something. And left. So Adam and left, and then I guess because of his ties with him, what's his name left? Forgotten already. Pete.
Yeah.
Etap Bakuyan left. You know, I don't want to get any speculation. I know in the you know, I got some emails and some other stuff, and I really had no idea what was going on. I don't know if it's something that some other members of this podcast were doing on their channels, but because basically I couldn't figure out if it was one of our live streams, because if something would have happened during that, I would have expected them to say something or say something immediately afterwards or something, like after we got off the air. But I don't know fully, and you know, they're welcome on at any time. They can come back if they want. And you know, just like kind of, you know, I don't know, Frank can come back. Frank's never really, he got it. Basically, Frank left because of some of the childishness and us talking over one another. Now, if you listen to several of the other podcasts, the High Council and other stuff, they take turns, and that is something that we sort of do and sort of don't. So some members, but I prefer the more organic conversations. So which is going to be a back and forth, and depending on people's style and level of conversation, doing, I guess is the best word, you're going to get that, as opposed to people waiting for their turn, as opposed to, you know, talking over one another. So anyway, but that's part of why we took a hiatus last week, and it ended up, I had a bunch of crap came up Friday anyway. So it would have been tough to do a show had nothing been going on. So unfortunately, episode 100 was this, you know, we had this big thing. We had other guests, and I did reach out to some other people, and I haven't heard back from them, who have been on here before. So, you know, we had was it Fatal J and what was the other guy's name? I always forget his name. Was that 98? Which live stream was that?
I don't remember.
So you're allowed to speak now, man.
Huh?
So Salvador has been on here. I want to get more people. Alex Hutchins, that's who. Link Alex 7. Anytime, man. And you know, and some of these people are in our Facebook chat area, and I did post the link in there, didn't I? Yeah, I did do it right the second time, I think. I don't know. It's like I posted it, and then wait a minute, I want to say a sentence, and had already brought up the screenshot thingy with the duck on it, and the like. So anyway, as the title kind of gives leeway, so have you seen the so-called final trailer for Rise of Skywalker?
You mean the first trailer?
Yeah, the first sort of trailer. Yeah, the first trailer that wasn't 2/3 other movies.
Final. Yeah.
So what are your thoughts, man?
It took me a few times to watch it to really pick out what I was looking at, because it was like the first time the initial first time I watched it, I was very captivated by the visuals. I mean, say what you want about Disney Star Wars being kind of bland, the visuals are often pretty attractive. And to see like the ship come up out of the ice, I mean, that was kind of dumb after you thought about it. But initially when you saw it, it was like, oh, that's kind of cool looking. So just a lot of stuff like that.
Right.
But
Yeah.
none of it really made any sense.
No, it's, and I made a I don't know if you've seen my video. I don't know. Did you see I put out a video or not?
I haven't seen
Okay.
it. I need to go back through and like get notifications turned on for people.
Yeah. I'm going to bring up my video. I think I have a link to, so let's see, let me go ahead and share, see if I can do this right. I only want to do an opera tab and I want to do this one, I think. And I'm going to share audio, dang nabbit. It's my own dang video. I don't care. Okay. So so that does work. Hold on. The technical guy is trying something slightly technical. Does that work? You see it moving? Can you see it?
No.
Can you see? No.
Oh, wait. Yeah, now I can. I'm sorry. I was looking at the YouTube.
Well, I do have this up and, well, I'm not, let me refresh my screen on the other thing. Start playing, dagnabbit. And as you can tell by his accent, Appalachian American is more Appalachian than Kendo.
Oh, yeah. I'm in the heart of it.
Right. Well, the Ozarks area, when you look at it by culture, it does extend out that far, but not a geographical location. But to me, that's just them putting all hillbillies together. And then when you actually know hillbillies from different areas, they're like, yeah, they ain't the same. you know?
I started the Appalachian American thing, right?
Oh, for Kendo?
No, just the whole thing in general.
Oh, no.
It was some stream that Jeff was talking about wanting to go to Japan, and he was like they would probably, him being so big that they would probably look at him at like, look at this hillbilly. And so I sent him a message. I commented on like the group and was like, I heard you talking about going to Japan, and you said hillbilly. And I said, we Appalachian Americans prefer the term Appalachian American. And ever since then, like, and I was pretty new, so like, I think I'd only been like following for maybe like 2 months, and I did it as a joke. But he mentioned it on one of the live streams that somebody contacted him and told him that they preferred the term Appalachian American, and so that's where the whole thing started picking up from. So that's where the joke came from.
Well, that's great. That's funny. Yeah. I don't know. Normally I get more feedback on my mic tonight. And now I'm getting hardly anything, and it's really disturbingly. So MJ Murphy is in the chat. Hey, MJ, if you want the link, let me know, and I'll send it to you via Facebook.
Grammarly does more
so
than
I'm going to
catch
skip this ad here in a moment.
With Grammarly, you can find really...
So this is my breakdown of the video. This movie exists. And I realized afterwards that I needed to do it a little bit more dramatically than I did. But here's what I did, man. I watched this at work. Or no, when did it come out? I guess it was the night before. So it came out Tuesday? Isn't that when it came out?
The trailer?
Mm-hmm.
Monday Night Football.
Monday Night Football, that's right. And I was on listening to Jeff and Kendo, and whomever, because I think Nick eventually came on, and I mean, I was actually, I don't know if you kept hearing Jeff's phone. Some of that was me. So
okay. You can always hear it.
Yeah, and it wasn't all me. I was really hoping they were going to let me come on, but I didn't invite myself. It's a no pants Friday, so I'm just listening tonight. Hey, you don't have to put pants on to join. How do you know that I'm not sitting here without pants?
Oh Lord! Oh my Lord!
Oh yeah. What is it? Oh no. What is it? Shoot! Now I forgot my Southern. I'm having a mental block. Aren't you sweet? No. What is it when it sounds like when you're commenting?
Well, bless your heart.
Oh, bless your heart. Yeah, when it sounds like a compliment, but it really means, oh, what a dumbass. Oh, bless my heart. Yeah, my kids are out. Well, my daughter's working late. My son's with some friends of his, and my wife's doing whatever. I don't know. I think she finally got out of the bathtub after an hour. But So basically, I came out with this 2 days ago. So I don't even know when I did this. So this was Wednesday. So everybody did a reaction video, right? And I was online and it's like, I really don't know if I want to do a reaction video. And I was listening to some of the things they were saying. Of course, Jeremy came on and I finally just went to bed. I was like, okay, obviously I'm not going to get invited. So I it was like, what can I do that's different? Right. And I saw different reaction videos. It's like, I don't want to do a reaction video. It sucks. That's my whole reaction is like, so I was like, well, can I do enough things similar for everything wrong with, the CinemaSins stuff. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so I right before I left work, I just on a couple pieces of paper, I wrote down 17 things that I didn't like. And then I came home and then I added more. So, and I did it this way. And unfortunately I did all the audio. So I had them all what I wanted. And some of them weren't in the exact order they show up in the trailer, but I basically went through the trailer and then I cut out stuff where either it was too long to get to something, because I didn't want, my, copyright strike or anything like that occurring if I could avoid it. And, so now I guess okay, never mind. So I was like, yeah, and then my son watched it and he liked that I used the horn because I couldn't find the ding. And so I used the horn instead. And so the training montage, as I called it for the trailer, I cut out the audio. But it was great. It was a nice little experiment, something dealing with things in Final Cut Pro that I haven't done yet. And so it was a nice little learning thing. But this is the video. I'm not necessarily if I'm going to play the whole thing, but I mean I can. Now that thing in the bottom, misuse of beloved logo for nostalgia purposes. So that one's a little dry there. It's a little too dry. I have a real problem when I make my videos, ray training montage, of having my personality come out. And this is true even in my beer. Some of my better beer reviews is one with my daughter. I need someone to bounce off of. So I don't know. And have you ever seen any of the ones I did with where I'm drinking with myself?
Yeah.
And I don't know why I don't know if it's my camera. Next time I have. So here's all my videos. This one is a horrible picture of her. She actually looks better in that. She lost some weight after this was like right after a kid. But see, here's all the things you miss because you don't watch my videos, YouTube. Yeah, this one. Well, not that one. Where's the better one? Oh, this one. Yeah, this was I actually have an idea along the lines of this to be a little bit better. Oh, do you know this movie's a remake, by the way?
Why is it bad luck to kill a go?
The Lighthouse.
The souls.
It's apparently been done several times.
Hey everybody, we're going to do a beer review of Oktoberfest.
But this is actually a little bit more of my personality. I'm not going to talk over it. I'm going to mute myself. This is a little bit more of my goofy personality coming out than in any video. But I'm not the life of the party. I'm just the one that tags along with the life of the party, if that makes any sense. Mm-hmm. Where someone starts the energy and I can bounce off of it. Because I'm really an introvert. I'm an INTJ, and if I don't have something to bounce off against, but yeah, here I'm mocking myself. I have another, and this one I got a little too far away. I was afraid I was too close, and let's see, you can't see it. So the cut line is in the middle here. Sometimes, and somewhere I think early on, the way I did it, the dogs are starting to do goofiness. There's an artifact that shows up at the bottom where that glass is sitting. See, and I don't know why it gets lighter right there. I don't know why that does that. So, but anyway, I have another one that I'm going to do. So then it blends better. But yeah, right there, you can't see it when I've got it, but you can see the glass at the bottom right there below my left hand. Mm-hmm. It does disappear, but there's the way I was blending it, I was trying to smooth the edges and that stayed, and I don't know why. And then it went away. But yeah, I've got another idea for another beer oriented video where I'm going to be sitting. So I'm kind of doing that a little bit. I have to do this all based on timing. So let me let you know a few secrets of how I did this. And then, Nick can come by and say, oh, here's how you really do it, goofball. So there were certain key points. My wife is just off screen. The camera, obviously, so camera left. And she wrote down underneath the camera is the timing of when I did certain things. So I did the stuff on the right first that you're seeing on the right. And then and what I'm looking at is the clock. I had to remember, when did I look away, and then I had to remember to put the glass back over there and not where I was gonna. And then there you can see the cut is a little, I don't know why it lightens up again. So the next one I'm going to do, I'm going to be seated the whole time. I'm not going to get up and walk away, because I think the camera, even though the camera's all manual, it's all manual settings. Basic 3D, I forgot to change. That's funny. I'm not going to do a ninja update of my own video. But no, this movie apparently is, The Lighthouse is a remake. I didn't realize it was a remake. And Tabnai's comments great, but cancel that. But yeah, and this is part of what I want to explore, and that what's kind of driving this. And there's some other stuff that I'm going to be looking at, but
yeah, there are two of them. That's funny.
Yeah. Seeing it doesn't show up. This is really starting to piss me off. The channels that I frequent, it's like I've actually had, when people say, "Oh, people have been unsubscribed," I just thought it was, oh my God, this is the third time it has unsubscribed me from him. And I actually watched one of his videos today, because he put out a new video for doing Final Cut stuff today. And it came up as on my phone earlier today. This one right here, this hyperlapse. I'm going to try and do some of these. But this guy's got some really great things. And so this is kind of what's been spurring me on to do some other stuff and do some other content. That's, wow, my camera is on. Why is what in the world? I see myself behind my, there we go. That was weird. I mean, I'm just sitting here, I'm just sitting here in a shirt as far as MJ knows. It's a long sleeve and goes down to my knees. No, it doesn't. This is actually a double XL. That's also, someone put I'm stop looking at myself. And why does it say, now it shows myself under, it says I'm subscribed to my own channel. Golly, YouTube is just bizarre. Let me find a that's why, because I'm showed you all that as the Fan Caste, not as myself. Well, that makes perfect sense why I wouldn't be subscribed to Brian Francisco. Sorry, YouTube, I accused you of doing something you didn't. So I'm gonna have to find it the hard way. I know we're not talking about Star Wars. So my take, while I'm doing this, I'll talk about my take on the thing. So at first I was like, okay, it kind of feels, especially when the ship came down and all those, plus I had seen some camera shots and stuff. And I was like, this kind of feels like it wants to be Return of the Jedi, but isn't going to play that card too hard. And then when I saw the horses, I was like, what the heck did I just see? Obviously Jeremy got a Harry Potter vibe. I've not seen Harry Potter, so to me it was like nothing like Lord of the Rings in the Return of the King, with that really big field and a lot of horses and things that they did with that. But
I haven't seen the part that they were talking about being Harry Potter like.
Yeah. I don't know, because but when that ship came out, I was like, wait a minute, JJ did this in the second Star Trek movie, and with the Enterprise was underwater, and they now granted it came out of the water, it didn't come out of the ice, but I bet you it's very similar, if not the same, shot wise. But no, this is what I wanted to show. What is it doing? That's not what that tab isn't. I guess I have to delete it. Go away, dogs. There's not two YouTube tabs. Oh yes, there is. I still have it open. Dangnabbit. But now this is from 4 years ago. Okay, that's at least 10 pounds, if not closer to 20. And so someone says, "Hey, doth thou even hoist?" People do not understand how tall I am. Okay.
How tall are you?
About 6'5". I'm Jeff's height.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I lost a little bit of weight recently because I wasn't lifting, but I'm 215, believe it or not. But when you're tall, it looks thin, and it's like, look, I don't want to be 260. If to make me look huge, I'd have to be 250, 260. I don't want to be that big. But anyway, I thought it was funny. I guess no one else did.
I mean, I'd like to be 260.
Oh, down to, right?
I'm as Mahler from the EFAP would call a massive. I guess. I don't know. I'm 6 foot tall and 300 pounds, and everybody else doesn't. I always get guessed about 250 or 240, 250, but
right.
I used to lift a lot back in the day.
Well, and I also don't. Yeah, I don't eat like I should to be that heavy. I'm 51 years old now. Granted, that was 4 years ago, so that means I was only 40. Oh no! Hold on, I can't hear myself talk. I know I'm still live. I'm not my headphones out.
Lape anus.
But I've also been, tall, thin, probably relatively, not like clinically low T, but I'm not. That's the other thing people don't understand too, is how much testosterone it takes to look like Arnold Schwarzenegger back in his prime, But I mean, I've been in the gym and people can't even get 30 pounds of my weight. Understand it, you're looking at me in shorts and a t-shirt. It's like, yep. But yeah, let me since I'm just gonna make this show about myself, apparently, since there's no one here to stop me.
Go for it.
Oh, dag nabbit. Oh, bless my heart. But yeah, overall, I was like, okay, the music was great. Although it's John Williams' score from, just a slightly updated version from 40 years ago. But overall, I was just like, this doesn't even feel like a trailer. This feels like a highlight reel, And, I understand in modern day trailers, they try to subterfuge and everything else. And is it this or is it not that, what's going on? But nothing gave any semblance of a plot that I could tell, an overall semblance of a plot, something that, like, okay, so the last movie we knew Rey was going to do some sort of training. We knew she was powerful. She was going to, dive down into something, probably discover a little bit about herself. Kylo Ren looks like he was conflicted with what had happened. We saw him smash his helmet. We saw him delay shooting the missiles when he knew his mom was close. So you kind of figured that, then you saw the missile shots, you saw, if I remember, in one of the trailers. So they kind of alluded that Leia might die or might get, blown out in space as she did. We had some idea of what was kind of going on. Obviously, we didn't know it was just going to be the slowest chase ever. But at least there was some semblance of a plot. I didn't get any sense other than a big battle, maybe. But, and then when people were making comments on the types of ships that they saw in that thing, I really, really hope they're not pulling an end game where they're pulling all these ships from all over time. Because one of them was like,
don't.
Right, because one of them was a ghost ship from, was it Rebels or something?
Rebels or something.
I don't mind if they have these ships that are 20, 30, 40 years old, although they ought to just get blown out of the sky, the space or wherever they're battling. But
yeah,
I really got the vibe that they're just, it's almost like the saga's going to end because they're just widening their reach, and they're sweeping in everything left, and it's all going to just show up at the end. And then we get the although I guess I can't say there aren't some plot elements. Kylo and Rey destroying Vader's helmet, and I actually have and I might do a video on this for my channel later, but I saw this, I don't know how when I was looking for pictures for the thumbnail tonight of the space horses. or the Sporces. I came across this, and I'm like, I think we already knew this. I would stop the video, you dork. Star Wars confirms that what Kylo Ren and Rey are destroying and blah blah blah. So you just skip down, and you know for sure that there. Thanks to Star Wars, the Star Wars show, we now know for sure that they're destroying Kylo's Darth Vader shrine. See, this looks like, this to me looks like City in the Clouds.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and so that was my take on City in Clouds and Cased in Ice. Like and that might be very early on that they find it frozen for some reason. And there's a mysterious blue light. It's almost like it's just floating in space. It's not orbiting a planet anymore. It's very odd. But this looks like Cloud City, not City in the Clouds, but Cloud City. I mean, in particular, the cleaned up version that we got in the extra special edition of Empire. I mean, what do you think that is?
I mean, I could see it being Cloud City. I mean, it kind of does. I don't remember it being so white, but I mean, I haven't seen Empire in forever. I don't know.
Well, have you seen the edition?
Why would it?
Why
would the shrine, Kylo Ren's shrine, be on Cloud City when they haven't been back there in so long?
I don't know. I mean, it's maybe it isn't the Cloud City, but to me, it does have that feel.
Yeah, it's very clean, very nice, neat.
Right. I may see if I can find something really quickly. But overall, it was just like, this feels like everything I've seen before. And it's so freaking annoying.
Yeah. I mean, there's really no direction. There's nothing. I mean, I remember me and my wife, well, we were dating at the time, we went and saw The Force Awakens, and it was like, it was, all right, cool, this is cool. And I remember the second time we saw it twice in theaters. And the second time I took my mom and my dad, and like, I was like, what do you guys think? And Mom was like, well, I'm glad that we have the originals. Those are our Star Wars.
Right.
And I was just like, I don't get what they don't like about it. And then once The Last Jedi came out, it was like, I remember walking out like, what did we just watch?
Right.
And I remember I laid in bed that night and was like, if you had cut Finn and Rose out of the whole movie, like, it still wouldn't have made any different. Like, all their whole side quest was for nothing.
Right. No, I'm on record as what I thought of The Force Awakens, because I made a video the day I saw it, 4 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, this is how I found WCBS. I don't know if you know my story or not.
No.
So I have a digital copy of Empire Strikes Back, and I cannot freaking find it, of course. But and it's like the extra special edition. I mean, I saw Empire in theaters, when it came out in 1980, and then I saw it again in theaters when it was re-released in the 90s, and they added some stuff in the background and things like that. And that really reminds me of that. But all I heard from everywhere was how great The Force Awakens was. Hey, if Rey really does come back in time and becomes Anakin's mother, at least we can cover the yeah, there we go. I know, Lape stories. Well, Frank, I'll send you the link. I already sent you the link, buddy. Get on here and stop me. It's your fault. So if you're on here stopping me, I wouldn't be talking. You and MJ, it's your fault. Y'all's fault. But basically, I was really hyped for The Force Awakens, and because I really disliked the prequels, and saw the first one in theaters and didn't go back. And it was, my son had been playing the Lego Star Wars game for quite a while before I saw the Revenge of the Sith. And he and I sitting on the couch watching it together, and I got about halfway through, and I said, this is a better Lego game than it is a movie. And that my kids liked the prequels when they were little, and as they got older, it's like they liked them a little less. They saw how, because the biggest problem with the prequels that I had, well, there's several, but the biggest problem to me is George didn't have that creative team. He didn't have the team that was saying no to him, saying, hey, we're not going to do this, or maybe this is a better idea. Kind of like we had, I mean, if you've seen any of the stuff cut out of A New Hope, you can see why the prequels are the way they are. It's like,
what was cut out of A New Hope?
well, these various scenes, some of them that were long, and there's a scene with Biggs and Luke when he comes back. He goes to Tashi Station to meet with his friends, and he gets drunk actually in 2. And they're having a conversation, and Biggs had come back, who had been part of the academy, and he was telling Luke, hey, he and some shipmates were going to jump ship and join the Rebel Alliance at some point. And so that sets up the stuff later when Biggs gets killed. There's the guy, there's which leader? I think it's Red Leader. He talks, he's like, are you sure you can handle this? And Biggs vouches for him, and he says, Skywalker, I think I flew with your father back in the Clone Wars, something like that. So, but some of it was kind of boring, and some of it got reworked. They actually, in the novelization, Luke goes down the trench twice, and Biggs gets shot down. So it's the 3 of them. They split up, and only Wedge makes it. He and Luke and Wedge make it back, and Biggs is gone. And this is why he says, this time we're going in full throttle too. And
okay.
So they reworked that scene with with Biggs still alive until near the end. But so I see it, because I'm numb, literally head to toe numb at the end of the movie, and I almost fell asleep several times. I was so bored, and I could not believe it. It's like, what the heck was that? It's like, this is just a rehash for the most part. And I come home, I make my video, and I even say the Force awoke, and I gave it a very reluctant 7 out of 10, very reluctant. Upload my video, and then I see all these other videos that are just ripping it apart, and I learned what a Mary Sue is, and yada yada yada, and so on. So, and then that's how I found WCBS, was through all that, because it came up as somewhere along the line, came up with a suggestion. Then I started listening to the podcast, because what originally came up was when they all went. I think it was him and Dan. I don't know if Loudy was on that one or not. Nick was okay, because Nick and Dion, if I remember correctly, they were okay with it at first, and then it started to wear on them. And by the time we get The Last Jedi, they're like, "Buh." And the gentleman Brian Callahan actually liked the movie. I've never talked to him about Last Jedi. I should have done that last year at Jeff's birthday party, but he was on. I think he was on that one or a later one. But he says, we just got out of the new Star Wars movie, and I am emotionally gutted, is how Jeff opens that that one. But MJ isn't here. Oh, I said I was occupied for the last 3 weeks. Yeah. What? Now I'm trying to read the chat. Well, one weekend she was going off on a bachelorette party or something. So, but anyway, so what the hell was I asking? Oh, my journey to here. So by the time I got The Last Jedi, I didn't care. And then eventually I saw it when they did their live watch party when it was on Netflix. And there was actually, I was really, really drunk. And there was a right in the middle of it when Luke has his kind of his come to Jesus moment about the Jedi, and how Sidious rose to power. And it was like, that right there is a nice core of a movie that Rian Johnson isn't giving us. Because Rian Johnson's whole point in that movie was to set up something in a scene and then end the scene in a way you would not expect. Right? So this is why Luke throws his lightsaber away. This is why we get a very dramatic scene and then a stupid ass joke at the end of the scene. Because that's not what you're expecting. But by the first third of the movie, it was still, I was like, okay, now you're I know now what your shtick is, and then everything else was not surprising. Right? He got too much of that, but that was the whole point of the movie. Every scene, and I was just like, oh my gosh, ridiculous. So that's a negative, Ghost Rider. I'm not even adult. I'm not even adult even to be responsible for me. Oh, okay.
I think it's enough.
Yes,
I'm not
I think
even
so.
adult enough to be responsible.
So I don't know. Keep going to the gym, MJ. You'll find someone. When I go to the gym, everybody's old or I don't know what they are. When I actually make it to the gym in the morning, especially during the weekdays, I'm the youngest person there, so that'll tell you.
Man, I'd love to go to the gym in the morning. Oh,
you love to or would love to?
I would love to, because when I was lifting, my work schedule was so early. You know, I have to be in at 6:30. So to get in a good lift and get all my lifts done that I was doing a lean body program,
Right.
and it was just a lot of reps, a lot of
Yep.
sets.
Usually lean body, you're doing a lot of volume.
It wasn't a lot. It wasn't much weight. It was just the amount.
Mm-hmm.
And in order to do it, I would need like an hour and a half or so.
Yeah.
There was no way I was going to get up at 3:30 or 4 o'clock to go to the gym.
Right. Now that's part of why I switched to. I was doing 4X. Well, years ago when I was younger, I'd be at the gym for 2 hours, but this was before kids, and a little bit even after our daughter was born. But this is when we lived in Tennessee. But mainly because I wasn't lifting the whole time, but I was doing like 20 minutes on the bike, and then I was stretching, and then I was doing my lifts, and then I would sometimes stretch some more, and then they had a steam room and a dry sauna, so I would go in there, and that was like part of my recovery, and that made a big difference, especially in the wintertime.
Mm-hmm.
And then we moved to
beds.
Do what?
We had tanning beds.
Yeah. I didn't.
Nice.
I never. Yeah, we didn't have that. But and then when I moved to Marion, they just had a steam room in the YMCA that I joined, and it really helped with recovery. But I started to spend less time, and that was part of it too. So I don't know how long my routines were, but when I was doing a pure 4X, back when I actually was getting Iron Man magazine, and Steve Holman was still writing for them. They sold that. It's owned by someone else now. It tries to be men's health, too oriented. But the 4X program was great when I was working out in the afternoon. But when I switched years ago, so my son was in middle school, he went to school so late, or no, not middle school, it was still elementary school, that his school started so late that I had to rearrange everything, and it was too much. And then I started doing a little bit more strength oriented stuff. And then I was like, but I was still trying to do like strength with some volume, and it was like just taking way too long. So I've got it down to half an hour. But this new program that I put together, I was supposed to do it for 6 solid days, and I did it for like 4 solid days, and then I've been just, too lazy. But getting up and dealing with the dogs when it got cold, it was like, oh. But yeah, when I go and I do the heavy lifting, man, and I cover, I am like energized for the whole day. And when I do the heavier lifting, this is also part of what I discovered in the evening, my thermogenic reaction is still cranking, that I'm like boiling. I can't sleep. I'm too hot. I don't necessarily have energy, but I'm just really, really hot. So, and that really changed when I got my early 40s, is when that really started to be like that.
Yeah, I got to where I couldn't take pre-workout after a certain time of the day. And so like if my work schedule went too far past 4 o'clock, I couldn't take pre-workout, in order to get to the gym. So I was like getting to the gym at like 5 o'clock, prime time. Everybody was there, no pre-workout. And it was just, it was miserable.
You got to keep talking, man. I'm drinking. I mean, eating.
We did have we had this really awesome cardio theater where it was like bicycles in the front row,
right?
Ellipticals in the second row, and then I think there was no treadmills was second row, ellipticals was third row, and then stairmasters were fourth row. And it was just a movie theater that would play a movie on repeat all day.
Yeah. I see you went to Gold's Gym. That's how we used to have a Gold's Gym near, not too far from me. And that's how it was there.
Mhm.
and they had a special cardio thing. Yeah, it was dark.
Yeah.
And I mean, not as dark as a movie theater, but darker than normal. And that was the whole point, because you need to be able to see to get on the machines. But
yeah.
years ago when I was looking at that, that gym, it became LA Fitness, I think, and then that's closed now. I don't even know if there's anything in that building. Yeah. Liquid dinner. Yeah, I'm eating. I got some taco meat and cheese there, Reality's Frank, and I'm sipping on Jameson. That's the
I'm eating
rattling.
candy corn.
That's the hello.
Hello.
No, not yet,
Hello,
MJ.
Cecil.
I'm supposed to get. I ordered something from Muscle Nation, and it's been sitting in customs for a week. It's really starting to piss me off. Come in from Australia, and it's been the last thing I heard is it
from the land down under.
Yeah. Well, they're kind of like they're a retailer, but they do a lot of clothing, but they have some of their own supplements. So I don't know, a month or two ago, I sent them a message via Twitter or something saying, hey, if I order from you guys and, do an unboxing and review one of your supplements, will you give me a shout out? And they said, sure. And I didn't realize that it was, it's still international arrival on the 17th, New York City. So, well, then Jay, you said you were going to give me some new codes in November, so that's fine. And then there's Rev Up is another one. They want me to try their branched aminos, but I haven't bought any yet. So, but yeah, I've had a few brands actually send me stuff. It's been a while. The protein bars I got from it's Chef. I forget the name of it, but they sent me a protein bar that wasn't even out in stores yet. That was neat. Being able to do a taste test of that, taste review. But yeah, the Bucked Up was good, and I want to try. I'm actually waiting on irony of ironies. I'm waiting on my YouTube money actually from my channel to come in. It's supposed to have been deposited. They said up to 5 days, so I don't think it's been 5 days yet. But yeah, the Bucked Up, they have another one that I want to try. I don't know if I'm really going to go that hardcore one. The AF. Monica knows what I'm talking about. Sorry. Oh, I did it again. MJ knows what I'm talking about. Well, since LMP's not here, I'm going to find that old video and just show it.
Do it.
It's got Frank too, but
from being home.
Huh?
He said he's about an hour away from being home.
Oh,
well, maybe that was like 30, 40 minutes ago, actually.
Yeah, but I mean, Frank appeared on my mic sounds great. Now, is that Jeff or is that Nick or is that Kendo? I don't know.
I don't think it's snarky enough to be Kendo.
Right.
Much love, homie. Much love, Kendo.
Yeah, it'd be Lape. Your mic sounds like ass. Episode 3 or 4 or whatever, he appeared on the thumbnail. So that was an image he sent me. He said, use this. And so I did. Oh my gosh. You know how hard it is to look up supplements and look at the chat and try to be somewhat entertaining?
They don't have control over the
There
channel.
we go. The woke AF, that one. Although that one might be something Jeff does have. A lot of these that I like, he doesn't really feel. Lit was one that I liked, tried last year, and he said it didn't do a lot for him. Now they have a Lit AF. Here's the thing that is beginning. A lot of these have 330 milligrams of caffeine. Now they're usually a blend, and they're not usually come all at once. But it's fine. There was something I took. Was it Mesomorph? There was one I took like a year and a half ago, where if I took a whole dose, man, I was like racing all day. I had to take half a dose. So yes. And I was there to watch it blossom, Frank, in Chicago. That was very strange.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Well, when Jessi was trying to choke Jeff out, I thought, something's starting to happen here. That was so funny. I forget how tall she is. She's not too tall, but it was just really, really, it's like, yeah, you have a good hold. Yep. And he just stands up. It's like, it was very bizarre. Yeah. That was the second place we went, the one after noon. And I swear to God, man, so we were somewhere that had great cheeseburgers and they had half price Moscow mules from what I remember. And it had really good selection of beer. And then we walked to this other place that I forget what its big attraction was. And I can't remember if Nick went and moved the car at that point or that was later. But we walked in and there's this, this group, I don't know, 12 of us. I mean, it was, I don't remember how many people. And the people looked at it. And we weren't like we were this motley crew. And we walk in and I swear all these people looked at us like, oh my God, what the hell just blew in the door? And there was a birthday party going on in the back for some, 9-year-old. And we're already lit from the other bar. And we ended this place. And then, it was a great night. And then we wanted to do karaoke, but it was really late. And again, they wanted to charge us like $25 a head or something insane. We're like, no, thank you. We're leaving.
Gosh.
I think they wanted to close up. It was a slow night. There wasn't anybody in there and none of us were, of the right. I don't know, but I don't want to be racist there, but it was like, well, they were, we were non-Chinese, so they were going to charge us some ridiculous amount to make us leave. And we did.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, Frank, and Jeff apparently did some unboxing, in the
Good Morning Pop Culture.
Oh, sorry, I filmed it. I need to edit it. Yeah. I did not catch that yesterday. And we did they did a lot of stuff if anybody saw the live stream from Indianapolis, at Horehound, they did a lot of stuff. I'm the one off camera handing everything to them. Nice. I also pushed it all that I got to bring it all the way we were like 7 miles away. The hotel was like a block from the entrance, maybe a block and a half from the entrance to the convention center. But the convention center is so large, and it was in the last hall. I think it's larger than Columbus, and it was like, now granted, we got to be out, indoors, but you had to go through a building and then through a skywalk and through another building and then another skywalk and then down some elevator and then all the way around the convention hall to the far end. And I think I walked 70 miles that weekend, man. And by about the 12th trip, Dion was coming back with me for something. He's like, I think we go that way. And I was like, no, Dion, we go this way. Are you sure? I'm like, yes.
All the outings look so much fun. Makes me wish I lived out that way.
Yeah. And it's like, yep. He's like, yep, you're right. And I'm like, I know. I've been back and forth to the hotel. My pants are falling off. But yeah, it'll be interesting. But yeah, it was a fun time. The Horehound is so far I always miss the fun. Like the one that was here in Cincinnati, my wife was out of town and I had to deal with the dogs and other stuff. So I apparently missed the good times. But the one I went to one in Atlanta. It wasn't a Horehound, it was Days of the Dead. This is a few years ago. And I stayed up, I think I went down preloaded with some kind of, cold or something. And like I stayed up too late or something the few nights before. It snowed on the way down in the mountains of Tennessee. So I had to drive from Cincinnati to Atlanta. And so I got atop Jellicoe and there's snow everywhere. Now the roads were clear, but I actually took some pictures, bright sunshine, but very cold. And then it was cold and rainy down in Atlanta. And Saturday night, man, I felt so horrible. And Nick keeps texting me, hey, we're doing this, we're doing that. And I'm like, I just wanted to, the cold was full force. It wasn't too bad Sunday morning. And then I'm trying to get up because I'm looking at the weather report and it's showing this band of snow and sleet and ice coming across Tennessee, Kentucky, and into Ohio. Okay. The way I have to drive home. And I'm trying to get Nick up. And it's like 10 o'clock. He's like, calm down, old man, shut up. Because he had beers for me, I had to get from him and all this stuff. And, to review and things. And finally, I finally got him up and then I had to stop for gas. And I stopped. I forget. It was around Lexington, Kentucky. I had to stop and get some more gas and I had to go to the bathroom, all that stuff. And it was just starting to sleet. And I was like, crap. And I was able to drive out of it. I got home and I live on the northwest side. So I have to come in, cross the river, go all the way around and get home. And I tell you, I wasn't even home 5 minutes before the sleet hit. And I mean, it was like, boom, snowing, sleeting. And I was like, oh, and it was starting to collect very rapidly.
I love winter weather.
I like the winter weather. I just don't like driving in it.
I love driving in it. Donut City.
Oh, well, that part. If you're going to drive for fun. Now, when we were in Chicago for Celebration Sunday, we got snowed in. We were quite a ways out of town and it snowed, I don't know how many inches, 6 inches. And Nick had, I forget what he's got. It's a Toyota something. This, the big SUV that we did the car video in and all that stuff. And it's a front wheel drive, but since it's large, it will slide. And Joel and I went out because we weren't going to go down to Celebration. It was just too much snow. And just, it was already an hour when it was decent. And it was like, I don't want to spend 2 hours in traffic or all that crap. So we went to the mall and other places. And I'm just in the roads where we were. And it was Sunday. A lot of it was businesses. So there weren't very many people on the road. But they were like 4 or 5 lanes wide with a concrete median in between. So, when you hit something. And yeah, I was purposely sliding that thing all over the place. It was fun. And I got back and Nick asked me, so how's the driving? I said, oh, it's a lot of fun. He's like, what? I said, yeah. And Joel's like, yeah, I don't know if I'd call it fun. And he's 2 years younger than I am. Joel is, and he used to be on. He was one of the old cast members.
Oh yeah.
And
I've gone back and listened to everything.
But I think that was the night. I thought it was Sunday night when they did a lot of recording with Jessi and Anna for. I think it was Sunday night for some stuff that's been on Patreon, and that video has been out there. And they played some games, and we watched one of the Game of Thrones. I didn't care. That was the night I started having a panic attack about 1 o'clock in the morning. We got kicked out of the hotel, but I should have gone to Jeremy's room and just chilled out because he left, and Andy was going to stay there, and I should have just relaxed there. But part of the problem was I was getting really, really tired. I thought it was that same day. Because it was like it snowed. It started snowing like at midnight or something. And in the morning, it was good coverage. And then by noon, it was like it had dumped. But then it basically by like 3 o'clock, it stopped snowing. And then it melted fairly quickly. And then it got cold. It was very strange. But it was, that was the way it went. And then we came home. We came home Tuesday, and Tuesday was when I had a video that exploded and ended up with 500,000 views. So that was awesome. It was a video I had out for a month. That's the weird thing that I'm starting to see on my channel, Brie Larson videos, but she has to be in the thumbnail. I actually have one that mentions her in the Avengers, but she's not in the thumbnail. Doesn't do well. I have to have her in the thumbnail in some fashion. Very strange.
Algorithm.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and then some of her apologists have found some of my, the YouTube account is Keep It Real or Keeping It Real or whatever. And they keep pasting, there's some video of her, how she's a positive role model and an inspiration and all this stuff. And it's a very computer sounding voice and it's very odd video, but they'll post links to different timestamps. Like if I say something or someone leaves a comment, their argument against that is they'll post a link to a timestamp part of that video that it's like, she's not this, you're just a hater. It is so weird. I don't mind because it's like, hey, I'll take all the hate watches,
Yeah. Well, that's like Pete got hit with somebody wanting to talk about how internet, what was it? Internet stalking. It's like a crime.
Oh yeah, no.
Like the code section of where it's illegal and everything, and it was like, okay.
They posted that in one of mine too, and I reported them. I did, because I was like, look, because the thing is what they don't know is I have I guess I could call her a friend. I mean, I haven't seen her in years, but back in the 90s, I know someone who got cyber stalked big time. And I know exactly all what it involves. I know what it, you know, what the act is. I know what, you know, it's like, look, you have no clue what my background is. And if you're going to try and claim I'm cyber stalking Brie Larson by posting videos and reading articles about her, and that's all I'm doing. I don't post anything to her Twitter. I don't follow her on her Twitter. I don't, you know, I don't even know if she has a Twitter account. I don't tag her, none of that. I'm like, look, if you're going to go down that path, you better be willing to show some evidence.
Yeah, I mean,
so I reported it for abuse.
I couldn't imagine being a follower of her on Instagram or Twitter or whatever. I just can't. I don't want to know. I mean,
Right.
if I want to know something, I'm sure it'll be on Jeremy's video immediately.
Right. Well, and I've even said, even on this channel and in my videos, especially on some of my videos, it's like, look, I don't know her from a hole in the wall, right? I don't know how much of the things that she has said is some handler saying, oh, you have to say this and this and this, right? I know that there's a lot of that image nonsense that goes on. And so I don't know how much of it's real and how much of it's like, if I don't do this, I'm going to be out of a job. You know,
the way that she sounds when she talks, and not just her, but like other celebrities, you kind of imagine they probably have PR teams to handle their social media, because they just none of them speak in a manner that would be like good for PR.
right.
I don't know.
Well, look, I mean, I know there's a lot of image oriented things in Hollywood, and that's part of the big draw, right? And I get that. And I actually found some and some of it was video that I guess she had posted, or someone else must have posted it because it was of her when she was at Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. Okay. And she's just, you know, oohing and on like any other fangirl like you would expect. And I'm like, I think that's the real Brie Larson. A lot of what we see, not all of it, because I know, you know, I don't think she's all together there, but she's not a brain surgeon, right? She's not a rocket science math, you know, genius, you know, curing cancer or something. So not a brainiac, but most people aren't, you know? So, but yeah, he posted that image in I forget what group it was on Facebook. And then like the next day, that same person pasted that exact same thing into one of my our videos, and I was like, look, I'm not tolerating it. And I just basically went and clicked the report for abuse button inside of YouTube, and so far they haven't done it again, so we'll see.
Yeah,
but because it got held for approval or held as possible spam, I forget which. It was in it didn't show up anyway, and I'm like, yeah, you're the one stalking. You're going around actually. Oh, I did it again. Damn it. So
the Russian bots.
Yeah. But yeah, here's what's crazy, man. Before it went live, I'm driving home. I'm gonna go F this movie and blah 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 blah. Rise of Skywalker is a bit, and then I'm like, by the time I got home, I was like, I don't even have the energy to just rant and rave, because I think it looks horrible. I mean, it just. And I listened to yesterday's show, and when Dion's, that was like, you know, that was great.
Oh yeah,
pure unadulterated Dion.
The Monday night live stream, as soon as Jeremy got on, F Disney Star Wars. It was like right out of the gate. No, hey, how you doing?
Right. Yeah. F this movie. F Kathleen Kennedy. F Star Wars. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and I like how he does his, well, the High Council sometimes he does, but I like it when he's on. Yeah, he'll be on the High Council when Jeff's doing it. It's like, oh, sorry, I don't forget. It's like the channel's called World Class Bullshitters.
Yeah, exactly.
So
I always just say World Class BS or something.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, yeah, I did a video. man, early on, and I did a shout out video. And at the time, I'm like, what if my mother finds this? I can't say bullshitters. And so
Right.
I did it, world class BSers, I think it was. And then the next, well, I don't remember if I had put it out or it was the next, because they used to record the show and then it would come out on Thursdays. And I think they record the day before or something. But anyway, I'm listening. I don't even remember. I think Phil or somebody's talking. And all of a sudden I hear my voice coming out the computer, through my headphones, like, what? And I'm like, I know instantly someone's watching my video. And then it was Jeff said, he said, hey, this, fan, because that was like one of the very early fan interactions in that regard. And then somewhere along the lines, I was like, you know what? My mother's not going to watch anything on YouTube. I don't care anymore. So dang nabbit, I'm 47 years old. I can say bullshitters.
Yeah, my mom, she's popped in on the chat before. I shared the link. I'm surprised she's not in it now.
Yeah, but no, it's been great. It's I guess got to figure out how to get my channel. I'm at 1444. I'm at 1544 for like weeks. Here's what's really screwy, and this is where I'm thinking YouTube's doing something funny. I will gain 10 subscribers in a day. The very next day I'll lose 10. The very next day I'll gain 10. And then it'll just sit there. And then I'll lose 10. And then I'll gain 10. And then I'll lose 2. And I'll gain 4. And then I'll lose 9. And then I'll gain 10. And then and it's like it just stays around the same number. I'm like, what in the world is going on? It's just very annoying. Your mother's and my mommy's really old. She's your mummy. There we go. There's a Doctor Who shout out. Are you my mummy? No one gets that. David Tennant,
I've never
Doctor.
seen it.
David Tennant, who? Yeah. Now there's something I could talk about for too long. Although I can't go into the details that Doomcock does. And I'd really like to know how. I think he's close to my age. I think he's younger, but I'm only suspicious of it. But no, I like Doctor Who, and although I have to, Baker is kind of even though he was really Doctor Who before I got into the show, it was just really reruns. Tom Baker, he's the one that I think of the most. And then in the 90s, they had a sort of attempt at a revival. There was a TV movie where I forget who it was. That was the Doctor. In the beginning of it, he's shot or something, and then he comes back as the next Doctor, and that's the Doctor that's in the special. And then it didn't catch. Go ahead.
There's my mom. She said hello.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Frisco,
Virginia.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it took long. Sometimes it takes longer to come up. So they say, hello, Mrs. Appalachian American. No. So, look, I used to live in Tennessee, man. It's where my daughter was born there. My brother was born, went to college. So, East Tennessee. But anyway, but yeah. And then when it came back with Eggleston, I was like, oh, this is pretty good. And then he left. And I've heard about 19 different stories of why he left Doctor Who. So I don't know why. And then David Tennant did well. And then somewhere into the Matt Smith reign, I just I don't really care anymore. So
it was never really big around these parts. There's a few people that would watch it. A lot of any of the decorations or memorabilia was from Hot Topic, and I don't know. You just didn't really see much of it. Not a whole lot of Doctor Who things, except for all those little My Chemical Romance kids.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And my daughter had a stage like that where she got into things at Hot Topic, and she couldn't wear, for some reason, she hated everything pink. Anything was pink. And I don't remember what store it was. It wasn't like Rue 21. It wasn't Hot Topic either. It was something like that, where maybe it was Hot Topic. It wasn't Spencer's at the mall. it's pretty much all closed now. That was at Tri-County. And she made the poor sales girl open like 75, I don't know how many, it was like a collection of socks. But she couldn't see them all. It was all in a bag. And she couldn't see them all. And she was afraid that some of them had too much pink on them. And when they opened like 3 or 4 of them, and I was just like, and I think what they eventually did is put together a package from them that so that none of them had too much pink.
Oh Lord.
It was like a couple of years it was like this, and it was like, "Ugh." And when she talks about it now, it's just like, yeah, I don't know what was wrong with me.
Frank said make Kellogg's listen to my Immortal episodes.
Oh yeah.
Gosh.
She knows
That's
about
rough.
that. Yeah, because I told her that, when they did that, I told her, I said, they're reading My Immortal. And she's like, they know what My Immortal is. That's also what drives her nuts. Is I think through a lot of times through World Class Bullshitters, I know about stuff that's, although none of them are close to her age. I think Loudy's the youngest, and then he's almost 30. But she's 22, so whatever. But it's through the show. A lot of times I learned about stuff, and she's like, how do you know about that? And it's like, oh, it's those guys you listen to, isn't it? So
Man,
yeah, when he used to work at, go ahead.
I laughed so hard through those episodes, the My Immortals, and everybody was like, they're so stupid. They're so stupid. And
Yeah.
yes, they are stupid, but it was hilarious.
Yeah. Well, was it Dan that would keep interrupting people and say, no, read it the way it's, because they would kept trying to correct it.
Yeah. Yes.
Because it's like you start correcting it as you're reading, because it's like there's no way this
you
can't
want to
come
make
out.
sense of it.
Yeah. But yeah, he used to work. Loudy used to work at a Ford dealership not too far from. We still have the Ford pickup. If anybody wants it, I will gladly just hand you the loan, and you can just keep paying. It is I never buy a used Ford ever in my life again. Probably never even buy a used pickup. Found on road dead. But yeah, one time, this has been several years ago. Obviously, we were there, and it was about 3 years ago. Picking it up, and he drove it up and said something, and Kelly came by, and we were talking about. I asked him, "How are you going to be on the show or whatever?" And you're going to have Coach Loudy. He's like, "Yeah." And she kind of heard a little bit of it, and she said, "Well, does he listen to that show you do?" And I said, "No, he's on the show." And she was like, because she was being this smart aleck teenager, and she's like, "Oh, like, oh, this is kind of real." So
yeah.
But yeah,
yeah.
she I forget what she says now, but she thinks this show's even more sophomoric, except she wouldn't use the word sophomoric. We're more juvenile.
Yeah, well.
So, but I'm like, yeah, well, but she used to be big into PewDiePie. She used to be into what's it, Jenna Marbles. I think Jenna Marbles, PewDiePie's still around, but I think Jenna Marbles, I think she's still around. I don't know.
Who knows? I haven't heard any videos from her in like forever.
Yeah.
She was really funny.
Yeah, years ago I would watch some of her stuff, but I was like, yeah, I got her shtick got old with me. And then recently, I actually did a live stream about this a few weeks ago. I found out that Emily Hart had died that's about 3 months ago now. And I used to watch some of her stuff several years ago. She was big for this 10 Reasons Why thing. And then she did some other stuff, and she got hit. A lot of her videos got demonetized because she deals with a lot. She's in her 30s, right? She's dealing with, what 28, late 20s, early 30 or young women deal with and stuff, and is very frank about stuff that she's talking about. And that's when YouTube, it was before the ad apocalypse. They were doing stuff. It was really after Google bought YouTube, and they like rated RATED, not rated content, not suitable for all advertisers. And that really cut a lot of people's income in half, before they unsubscribed. That back then I wasn't making hardly anything, but I had more subscribers than I do now. And then they got rid of all the bot accounts, and like in a week, half my subscribers were gone. So But they were bots anyway, so it didn't matter.
And
Supposedly.
Jenna Marbles is still active.
Yeah.
She put out a video yesterday.
Yeah. I could have
20
sworn.
million subscribers.
How many?
20 million.
20 million. Wow.
Good gosh.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't even comprehend 20,000 right now. I'm trying, man. I tried the algorithm. I do a lot of SEO. There are some of my videos, believe it or not, some of my videos do rank in the top 5, some of them number 1 for certain search terms. But if people aren't looking, it doesn't matter. But I mean, I still get how old is I have an Aldi protein powder review, I swear is 3 years old, 4 years old. And it's like my second or third watched video every month. And that one comes up a lot in the Aldi search terms. In fact, for a long time, there were only 3 videos on YouTube for that product. And it's like, I'm number 1 out of 3. Don't know if that's a big thing to toot my horn about, but I was like, well, I'm number 1 at something anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's very strange. And but I like doing those, and like the beer reviews. I got started on YouTube to try and do this home business thing that faltered. And then I just started doing other things. I had friends that were asking me photography questions, and I'm like, okay. And I'd be on Facebook trying to explain something, and then like 2 days later, someone would ask me, I'm like, okay, why don't I just make a video covering all this? So stay lame. All right, Frank. Yeah. And I don't know if Jeff checked out or not, but he hasn't been in the chat, but it's all right. He can be listening, doing more important stuff like, videos that make money, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I never really did much with YouTube until Infinity War came out. And I went and saw Infinity War the night before, like the Thursday release. And nobody I had known went and saw it that whole weekend.
Wow.
So like I didn't have anybody to talk to.
Right.
And it was like being welled up with information and not being able to talk to anybody, like any of my friends about it that were knowledgeable about, Marvel and stuff. So I just got on and started doing like Infinity War movie reviews, just because I wanted to hear what other people were saying about it.
Right.
So I was just like, whoa. And the first was Collider, and then second was World Class PS. And it was like, I like these guys. They're funny. And I was like, that name, that is a good name.
Right. Right. It's hard to forget too.
Yeah. And so I was just like, let me see what these are. And that was very like, that was the very first subscription that I was like, oh, okay, that's what that means to sub.
Right.
That was legit. Like I didn't know anything about YouTube.
Right.
So.
Yeah, it's and you got to have a YouTube account in order to sub too. Mm-hmm. So I mean, I
had made an account because I had to watch something, and it was like you had to be of a certain age or something. I guess an age restricted video.
Right.
And so.
Right. And I actually have another YouTube channel out there that I don't even know if I remember how to log into. And I forget exactly why I create. What did I'm trying to find it. I think I renamed it. It was just my name. And yeah, I can't remember the name of it. But I put some of them out. And what's crazy is one of my most watched, it's like, I don't know, 3rd or 4th on my list. This is this really horrible video that my daughter and I made on vacation with her flip camera about HDR imaging. And this started as, let me sort by most popular. People asking me that some of these were high school classmates. Number 2, 57,000 views 8 years ago. And that one is up there twice. And the other one, I think, has more views, if I remember correctly, on the other channel. But she's like 14, back talking the whole time. I'm hot. I can't remember how, this camera's relatively new. It's a Nikon D7000. The same camera I still use for almost all my videos. And my videos it's a video, right? Not me doing screen captures. And so many of the comments about her. And it's like, this is the worst photography video I've ever seen, Oh, good night, Mrs. Lisco. Is that right?
Yeah.
And it's hilarious. And it's like, and people still watch it some, but the Millville one is 2 years ago, 2017, July, I think 2017. But what's so screwy is, and I've talked to Jeff a few times and Nick, because I can't figure this out. I've got a video. Okay. Like I'm looking, if you ever sort my videos by most popular, there's one that I did with my phone, my iPhone. It's like just shy of 4 minutes. It's fly sparging. So it's a beer making video, and I'm fly sparging in my old set, and that sparge is now broke. I don't know what the heck happened. I got to get some parts for it because I really want to use it again, but it's just me showing the fly sparging working. That's it. 14,000 views. And yet a video that, I spend time on, I do stuff, I'm lucky to get 100 views. It's so weird. And it's not like all my old videos have got stuff, because I've got one, my 6th watched video is just from 10 months ago, 12,000 views, about supplement, Muscle Tech Pro Series. It's very strange, man. The YouTube algorithm is a work of art. I won't say it's science.
I mean, they do they're trying to keep people down. That's for sure.
Well, the reason why Google bought YouTube is YouTube was losing so much money. They were almost bankrupt. They were overpaying. And, this was before the ad apocalypse and other things, when people got all pissy and, hey, we're going to shut these people down by, boycotting. And this is the thing that companies haven't figured out. And vast majority of these boycotts don't amount to anything, but they got some social media expert that says, no, every bad tweet represents 10,000 people who are angry with us. And it's like, bull crap. It's more like the other way around. Every 1,000 tweets is one person. There's 1,000 different bot accounts, and it's really only one person living in their parents' basement who's angry about everything. And they're not buying your product anyway. And so this is what we have with Disney Star Wars, where it's the other way around, where they're trying to pander to people who didn't like the original product, and they don't really like yours. They claim to do, but they're not going to go see it. And they sure as crap aren't buying the merchandise. As Mel Brooks says in Spaceballs, where they're as yogurt, merchandising, where the real money from the movie is made. I mean, how many toy videos has Jeff done where it's, and now one of the ollies he goes to is like 8 minutes from my house, and I've been meaning to go over there and see what they got now. But the other day, man, last week I was at Meijer, where we do a fair amount of our grocery shopping. Depends. We do stuff at Aldi, we do stuff at Sam's. And I purposely went looking for the Star Wars stuff. So out in the middle aisle is this huge Frozen display. Okay. I could live in the thing. It's so big. Well, with the Frozen, I guess the Frozen 2, is that movie out? I don't think it's out, right? It's not out yet.
No, I don't think so.
But it's you could get the new video, the video for the old movie, and you could get, the dolls and toys and blah, blah. I don't know. You about have to walk around it. It's so big. And I'm going literally up and down every single. I mean, I went up and down where the crayons were. I went down the Barbie aisle. I went down what essentially is the Marvel aisle. Sometimes it's almost all Spider-Man. And I almost walked right past it. It was not even 6 feet long. And it was Star Wars. Everything said the Rise of Skywalker, but that was it. And it was like they had 3 of everything. It wasn't like they had 75 lightsabers. They had like 3 red, 3 blue. They had a handful of various figures. They had a few things, and that was it. It was like when it was on clearance for The Last Jedi, even The Force Awakens, it was twice this size. And here's the new stuff, and it wasn't even, the main aisle, you know, some of that stuff, it might be in an aisle, but it's off the main, you know, let's say east west when you're going across the store, and these aisles are like straight up and down, you know. So the main thoroughfare stuff would be on an end cap, and it would be right inside that aisle. This was at the far end of the aisle by the bicycles where nobody goes.
Yeah.
It was like, and that's why I walked past it, because I did, you know, I was like, whoa, and then there it was. I was like, you got to be kidding me, you know.
Yeah, ever since the whole toy discussion, you know, watching toy videos and the talk about toys, I've really taken a extra few minutes and gone around and looked at different toys wherever I go, and it's a shame.
Yeah, it's unbelievable to me. I mean, it's in my view why I think Disney paid what they did for it, because the movies were going to make some money, but the licensing and the merchandising, and you know, the first movie, you know, Jeff was talking about, I think he was talking about it, and it was either last night's show or Monday night, where I'd go to the store and like every freaking thing you bought had some kind of Star Wars logo. I mean, it had my bagged lettuce from, you know, whatever company that was, and it have, you know, a certain one, like the all spinach would have, you know, BB-8 on it or something, and then you would be on you know, a different salad, the garden mix would have, you know, a TIE fighter or something. You know, everything had its own. Star Wars was everywhere. And then The Last Jedi, it wasn't as much because people were, the balloon was starting to deflate. And then Rian Johnson came and set the balloon on fire. And now nothing has Star Wars on it. It's not just the toys. The cross promotion is, they had some like solo cups, or, you know, pun intended here, some kind of cups over in the groceries section. And it was like out in the middle, and that was it. And, oh, Frank just posted a link somewhere. But yeah, and it's like even the merchandising isn't there. You know, the cross promote, and not just the toys, all the cross merchandising stuff is nowhere near the scale of what it was 4 years ago. And it's like, if you would have told me, you know, after I saw that movie and I just like, oh, this is not that great. And you would have said, yeah, in 4 years, you're not going to be able to trip over Star Wars anyway. You're going to have to go find it in the store. I would have thought, nah, there's no way. And here's where we are. And we get horses galloping across a Star Destroyer. You know, it's just like, and that lady that's beside Finn, because that was one that when I looked for that picture, she has her bow. Because there's a picture, like a still of her and Finn on the horses, and she's got a bow and arrow, and she's got the arrow cocked. She has that bow in her right hand. So not only are they galloping across a Star Destroyer, and all the things that Kendo said about horses and smooth surfaces is right. You know, in the city, they usually have to wear softer, almost like rubber shoes to keep them from slipping easily. And they have to walk a certain way. I mean, they're in all the pictures that they have shown previously, they're out they're like in the grasslands or something. And that's probably where they filmed them galloping. And I really hope that that's just an FU to the people like us. You know, like that scene's actually not in the movie that way, that they just did it for marketing to say, hey, we're going to tweak these guys. Watch this. Ha ha ha. So anyway, but yeah, it's just, I cannot believe where we are with Star Wars. I really can't. It's just unbelievable.
It's a travesty.
Yeah. It's like a crime.
Yeah. I mean, I hate it's just like the MCU also. Like, every bit of news is just ugh. Yeah. Every time you hear something, eye roll.
Yeah.
So and so said this. And it's like, oh my God, come on.
Yeah, I'm be interested to see where they go with it. You know, if it's going to be as woke as they're threatening. Because I think it's, you know, as this expression goes, money talks and BS walks. So if it ends up not doing well, it's, and then with Disney acquiring everything, and it's not so much I want Disney to fail, but it's like we don't need a monopoly on entertainment. And I think, well, Bob Iger releasing his, biography is telling. I think he's going to be stepping away. I mean, I think he's retiring, but I think it's more like they told him, "Hey, Bob, you got a year, get ready," because the shareholders are probably not going to put up with it. In particular, if this movie doesn't, break records and bring, if the rumors of all the reshoots are true, the budget of this movie's got to be in the $400 million range by now.
Gotta be.
Just the making of it. I think part of why Solo lost so much money was they spent like another 75 million remaking it. And if it's, 75% over the last couple of months, and if it's true that they've made 6 different endings and all the stuff about the test audiences that don't like it, and they've, gone back and gone back and gone back and gone back. And now with the shenanigans with the, of their finances and stuff, the books and the SEC, possible SEC investigation, it would be awesome. It would just be, we find out they're really bleeding money hand over fist. They're on borrowed time. They had to borrow money to buy to buy Lucasfilm and to buy Fox. And then their creditors are going to come calling, and all this stuff's going to just be, you're going to be able to get Lucasfilm will be probably sold off for $100 million. Maybe Lucas will buy it back for $100 million.
I hope so bad that the SEC violations are real.
Right. Well, it's one thing if they're real. If without an investigation, they're just going to get away with it.
Oh, yeah. That's what I mean.
I
hope that it gets investigated. I hope it's true. I hope they fall, and it'll be
yeah. And we get all the parts, get Marvel out from under them, get the Fox stuff. Stop pulling. I mean, Disney pulled this kind of crap back in the 90s. They would release something on video. It'd be on VHS, and they would have a special, very high quality tape, but it'd be like Cinderella. They'd clean it up. They did all this stuff, and it goes back in the Disney vault forever. And then a few years later, well, we had DVDs. Well, so much forever lasts 5 years. So they have to pull it back out, and they had to sell it, and then it goes back in the vault forever. And then Blu-ray came along, and and now they're trying to bear. It's like they Disneyfied. I mean, Disneyfication is a real thing. I mean, granted, it goes all the way back to Walt. This is not a new thing. If you read the Grimm's fairy tales, what they used, and even the Mary Poppins story and the Disney version are very different. They clean them up a lot. So this is from the beginning. This is how things have been. This is not new. So you're not going to get a 3rd rated R Deadpool movie with Disney owning them.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of. I mean, they're all just kind of played out right now.
Yeah, but it'd be interesting to see what. I mean, I've been burned down the MCU for years, and I'd like to see what. But Robert Downey Jr. is going to possibly be in. I don't think they can make these without him, even if he's just in as a hologram.
Yeah,
that'll be the selling point. It'll be in the trailer. It's kind of like the new Terminator movie. They put Arnold in the trailer to get butts and seats. I don't think it's going to work. Mm-hmm. And we know he's only in it for like 15 minutes, but yeah, find Dave Cullen's view on it. But yeah, his take is really good. That you have, they're basically, they killed John Connor as a kid. Let me just spoil it. They killed John Connor as a kid earlier on in the movie. It's basically a follow-on from Terminator 2. And then it skips forward, and they find Sarah Connor's been fighting Terminators, and she's been getting text messages of where they are, and she finds out that it's the Arnold version that actually killed her son, and he's blended in, and he's aged himself, blah, blah, blah. They're killing off all the male heroes and replacing them with female. That is the gist of the new Terminator movie. In fact, Dave Cullen said he'd rather go watch Terminator Genesis again than this one. and he hated
Wow.
Genesis. That's how bad it is. So there you go. For the all 7 people that are listening, I just spoiled the new Terminator movie for you. You are welcome.
That sounds awful.
Of course, but it's just what are we getting? We're getting a meh Captain Marvel replacing Captain America. We're getting maybe Spider-Man replacing Iron Man, but I wouldn't be surprised if we get Spider-Gwen or we get, Miss Marvel. Kamala Khan is now the leader of the Avengers. Kamala. I will crush you with my big hands.
Oh, woohoo!
Who?
Woohoo!
Yeah, woohoo. So, all right, man. You got anything else you want to cover? We've been at this an hour and a half. We can say goodnight and.
No, I don't think so.
So, and my dogs are waiting somewhat patiently for me to take them out.
I don't know if this probably isn't that big of a deal, but Jeremy posted a snippet the other day on Twitter about, or it might have been Jeremy. I don't know. Somebody in the Fandom Menace posted a clip of Boyega doing the same pose, same like action sequence of like jumping over something small and like coming towards the camera. From the Force Awakens and this Rise of Skywalker, he does the exact same motions except the background is slightly different.
Right. Is that where he jumps and he's clearly yelling Rey?
Yeah.
I think this is where what happens. My take is that she and Kylo are fighting and then they start talking and then they just go off together.
Well, yeah, but the point is like, what are they just using, splicing old footage in and just editing out the background?
Oh, maybe. Yeah, I don't know.
Because that's like the movement, the motions, and everything are literally the exact same.
Wow.
Like that's how dead this movie is.
Well, they did that. I forget who it was. If it was in the Transformers movies. There was like a scene in the first one when he's in one of the I don't remember if it was in the first one, maybe it was in the second one. That there was one of the it was Autobots. Who does the Autobots? It's not the Autobots, the Decepticons. Anyway, there's some one of the Transformers, I thought it was the bad guy that's in orbit, and they have this shot with him coming toward the camera. It's all CGI, but it rotates and they have a voiceover or something. And and I think it's in the second, it doesn't matter. But in the next movie, they reuse it like 5 times with different voiceovers, the exact same shot. And they show it in a paneled in this video all together. And it's like, they didn't even change, like, because it's the Earth is rendered underneath. They could just have it orbit and be in a different part of the Earth or be at date, nothing's changed except the voiceover. And it's like, because I could have sworn it was in the first one and they used it in the second one. And then like the third one, they used it several times. And it's like, it's pretty funny. It's like they're just ripping themselves off. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if, that kind of thing is they're just redoing it, rehashing. Because they don't know where to go with this. They don't know. The original trilogy, it's been debated whether or not George Lucas really had a plan, and I think he had an overall idea. I don't think he had them mapped out, because he really did start in the middle of the story. He had this idea of this, powerful, Jedi type being, comes to power, gains power, loses, falls from grace type thing, becomes evil, and then is redeemed. I don't think he had the particulars, but I don't think they had a general outline. I think it was just like, let's just do what George did back in the 70s and early 80s. It's almost like George did it. I look at it the same way what's happened with Apple since Jobs died. Tim Cook is a bean counter, and it's like, well, Steve took stuff away. Let's take the ports off of the MacBook Pro. No one will notice. oh crap, everybody uses those ports, you know. But Steve took stuff off. Yeah, he took stuff off that was becoming obsolete, you know, and sometimes he was wrong. And we took the floppy drive off his computers back in the 90s. And it was 10 years before anyone else did, maybe longer. That was like that was actually, heck, that was the late 80s. He did that on the Next. The worm drive was garbage, you know, but Steve wasn't always right. And it's like, but it's like, they don't know why. See, they look at that what George did and what Steve Jobs did. They don't know why they did it. They just know they did it. So let's just do that. Well, if you don't know why, it's not going to work. If you don't know why, the why behind what somebody does, and you just do the what, it will never work. And this is where we are. Yeah. So we'll just do what George did. And from what I can see in the trailer, yeah, it's going to be sort of Jedi 2. Yeah. So we'll see. All right, I don't know if anybody's still watching, but anything else? I can wrap it up before my dogs really start getting irritated. All right. Yep. Well, the Appalachian American, thanks so much for joining me for episode 101, and just didn't have me sitting here talking to myself. WCBS is coming up on 200. They're gonna, I believe, because it's, I think opening night is a Thursday. I know some of my assigned duties for that evening. I will be the designated driver. So I know Jeff has talked about watching the movie, you know, blitzed. I hope they're not too bad. But that's how they're getting to and from the movie theater. So don't think they're running around, you know, downtown Cincinnati shit-faced or something, or trying to cram into a small Uber.
I'm debating on taking that Friday off. I have the vacation time. It's just if I want to do it or not. And all the live streaming and stuff I'm hearing about, I kind of want to.
Right. And I forget what time the movie starts. It's like 3 hours long. So I got to get the particulars from Jeff exactly what they need me for, and to make sure my bladder is well empty, because I couldn't make it through Wonder Woman. I ain't gonna make it through a 3-hour Star Wars movie.
I think they said they got 6 o'clock tickets.
Yeah. So, well, I know where I need to be. You know, I'm what I don't know is if I'm taking that Friday off, if I'm on live stream with them or whatever, or if I join or whatever, or if I stay up and just rant on my own. But where I'm working, at least at the moment, is we do a lot of people work from home. And so I can actually just, what I'm probably going to do is work from home that Thursday. Maybe work ahead a little bit, wrap up a little bit earlier, and then head over to where I need to meet up with them to get to the theater. And I'm not even really sure what theater we're going to yet. And then, but yeah, it wasn't anything like Endgame where he was like on the east side. I mean, it was where he ended up having to get tickets was a long way from where he lives.
Yeah.
And not so much with this one. And figure out what I'm going to do with that, and whether I'm going to take that day off or, you know, just get up late and work from home. Because then I'll have ski patrol. Hopefully I'll have ski patrol duties by then as well. I don't know if I have anything that Saturday. I have to double check my calendar, because the next week I have a duty shift. So on like in the middle of the week. So I have the PTO too, but I need to be mindful, you know. So because I do a lot of contract work. We're working for a client out in Phoenix, so 3 hours behind right now. So nice. It's interesting. So I do software development. I'm a computer nerd. I am one of those smart Alex on purpose. All right, everybody. Thanks for joining us for episode 101. It has been an interesting time. Hopefully, maybe next week we'll have some of the other regulars, but and anybody in the Fan Caste Facebook chat, if you want to be on, let me know, as well as if you know, I had a great time with Fatal J and Alex, and love to see them come back and chat with them or do a live stream on their channels. That'd be awesome. So, all right.
It was a good show.
Yep. And I've tried, you know, again, you know, I've listened to some of their stuff. It's just, you know, finding the time is the biggest issue, and depends on what got going on. All right. Thanks everybody. And thanks for joining, and we'll see you next week.
See you. Bye.
I almost clicked the wrong button. Oh, shoot.
.com.
.com. My mouse has decided it doesn't want to work. Connection lost. No shite. Come on, connected. There we go. Ending now.
.com.